2011 saw the end of a fairy tale for a rallying icon, Andy Burton taking the legendary Peugeot Cosworth to victory in its final season of competition. The fights at the top were fierce, the emotions ran high. And now it's time to do it all over again. We've got some familiar faces, some returning warriors, and some new entries across the classes that make up this exciting series. The fight for the 2012 REIS Get Connected BTRDA Rally Championship starts right here. Welcome to the Wyedean. Julian, you're a man with a fantastic record at this rally. Looking to make it a fourth?
It would be nice, but I'm not thinking about that at the moment at all. It's as you know, it's so icy at the moment. It's so cold. It's about -6, -7. I'd like to get through the first stage. That's my first day. That's what Will's going to be shouting at me. Just take it very, very steady, just to see where the grip is and where there isn't any grip really. Being first car on the road's lovely normally because it's smooth gravel, but not today. It's going to be smooth.
Ultra smooth.
Ultra smooth. It's going to be like glass.
Darren, nice and fresh this morning. What's your plan for the first few stages?
I think just on the ice and probably maybe a bit of snow around, we'll probably take it a bit easy in the first stage. But, you know, that's easy said, isn't it? Once you're in there and you get going, if it's going good, it'll be fine. But, yeah, no, I think this morning will be a bit gentle compared to what it might be later if the conditions get better.
Justin, I think I need a fireproof balaclava to double up as a scarf as well. Pretty cold, isn't it?
Yeah, it certainly is. We woke up this morning to basically what was an igloo with our car, frozen inside, frozen outside, frozen locks, frozen throttle cable, frozen everything. So we're all just thawing out still.
As you can see and hear from the drivers' interviews, the conditions are extremely challenging this morning. -6-degree temperatures, ice on the first few stages at least. And it'll be extremely challenging, especially for the front-wheel drive 1400 crews who, as we speak, are about to start their 2012 season. Let's see how the 1400s get on at the start of the Wyedean.
So it would be an almost traditional start to the season opener for Julian Wilkes and Will Rutherford, the pair opening up an early lead. Tyre choice would be critical, and for the 2011 rally winners, it would be the exact set of snow tyres they used in 2007 and 2009. A little worn, but better than a gravel tyre. 50 seconds, the advantage after the morning loop of stages.
Julian, what are the conditions like out there?
I think you can see how much snow there is and ice. It's real tricky. We had a big lock-up about a kilometre in, nearly went into a ditch, lost about 6 or 7, but after that it was sort of steady away.
Unfortunately, the same couldn't be said for Darren Pinchin and Karen Watts. And it wasn't just the conditions that were causing the local crew to lose time. Problems with the car were making it near impossible to drive, resulting in a drop down to 14th position on the leaderboard.
Oh, go on then.
What the hell's going on?
I don't know. Try and get in the soft stuff. Keep an eye out for anybody behind you, because...
Have I broke a shaft?
I don't know. 2 left long tightens.
I have broke a shaft.
Have you? Okay.
Darren, this road position suggests you've had problems.
Yeah, we had we had problems about 2 miles in on the first stage. Something's broken. I'm not quite sure what it is. It's just there's like one-wheel drive, so I'm not sure what's going on.
So the conditions are the least of your worries out there?
Well, they're bad, but then we went to service and then we couldn't get it going. It wouldn't start. So we got an electrical fault just happened out of the blue. So I don't know, we're just going to get back to service and assess if we're going to keep going or not. And if we think the car's all right, well, we'll go from there.
For Ash Slights and Tom Hughes, it would be a better start. The car looking like it was on rails compared to the competition. The result? Increased confidence, and it was paying off. Second place as the crews headed into service was an inspiring achievement on the slippery stages.
How is it out there, Ash?
Oh, it's mint. It's proper good fun.
Proper Yorkshire response.
Oh, yeah. Well, we had a load of snow up in Yorkshire, so I've been out loads practising, but in road car, that is. But no, it's real good fun. No problems at all. It's just judging the grip on each corner because everything's different. But no, everything's working well. Power's awesome. 90 brake horse, bring it on. But no, great. Yeah, super.
Conditions like this were not in the game plan for Justin Lawson and Paul Hargreaves on only their second visit to these classic Forest of Dean stages. The pair opting for their regular gravel tyres for the morning stages and enjoying a good amount of crowd pleasing on their way to third on the leaderboard. Adding yet another dimension to the tyre choice this weekend were Dave Bennett and Alistair McNeil, taking a big gamble on the conditions to run a winter road tyre. In the icy conditions, the choice should have been an inspired one. The risk, of course, coming from the thin sidewalls. A clean line was key, and sadly that wasn't what lay in wait, and a puncture on stage 3 would be enough to stop them gaining any ground on Lawson. Consistency and a good tyre choice were playing into the hands of Nigel Jenkins and Jack Walby in the Nova. The pair catching and passing a number of cars in the stage to improve on their seeding and end the morning in 5th position. Kieran Darrington and Pamela Hilton would take a cautious start to their first taste of these conditions, but not too cautious, just keeping it steady as they look out for those icy patches to catch them out. Of course, the pair holds 6th position going into service. That 6th place though was being fiercely challenged by the husband and wife team of Marcel Freeling and Karen Robinson in the leading MG-ZR. Level on times with Darrington at this stage, but with problems of their own. A spin on the first stage not causing too much concern, but stage 3 would be a different story. 90 seconds lost in a ditch following a big spin wasn't the start Freeling needed. Most rally fans would argue that an Escort should be driven sideways, but this wasn't quite what Sean Matthews and Thomas Parry had in mind when they took to the stages in the 4-door Mark II. Limited time getting used to a rear-wheel drive car meant the pair were doing their fair share of crowd pleasing too, and the times wouldn't be bad either, 8th place and leading their class. A steady run for Freddie Brick and Rob Woodhouse in the Peugeot 106 sees them finish the morning in 9th place, running a comfortable 2nd in class. And another crew wrestling with rear-wheel drive in the icy conditions were Martin Shaw and Ian Prout. The pair no strangers to the championship, having taken part in the inaugural season of the 1400s 11 years ago. Though they are still yet to top the podium, and this didn't look like being the day either. 10th place so far. Just outside the top 10, heading the 1.4L class were Marlon Roberts and Steve Dealey, 12th overall and 3rd of the MG-ZR runners. As always, the Rally First category was well contested for this opening round of the championship. And over the morning stages, it would be Ian Barrett and Gavin Wright storming ahead of the field in the lead. A massive 4.5 minutes up at the end of stage 3. An interesting morning for James West and Steve Edgington, a collision with a bank on stage 2 bending the wishbone on the car, which meant the rest of the morning had to be done with the car pulling to one side at every opportunity. Second Rally First position was still theirs though, by just over a minute at this stage. Chris Hellings and Glyn Thomas would occupy 3rd place, as well as running 2nd of the MG-ZR Challenge crews, a good start to the event for the pair. And the morning wasn't without its fair share of problems for Philip Harris and Liam Burns in the Daihatsu, the conditions catching the crew out on a number of occasions, luckily without major problem, but it did make for some interesting moments in stage. They lie 4th in Rally First going into service. Regular viewers of Special Stage will recognise Aaron McClure and Martin Taylor in the Micra, stepping up from the Junior Championship this season as part of a next big step programme that will see the pair take on their first full season in the BTRDA. They lie 5th in Rally First at this stage. The afternoon stages underway, it would still be Julian Wilkes and Will Rutherford-CHILD with the 1400 lead. But as was true for most of the competition, the conditions were still causing problems. An incident on stage 4 breaking a wheel and losing the pair around a minute. A bitterly disappointing end to a good run for Ash Slights and Tom Hughes as they crash out of the event and lose too much time stuck in a ditch. The pair had been up in second place at the time, at least showing promise that their pace was there, ready for the next round. Slights' demise, of course, good news for those behind, and it's Justin Lawson and Paul Hargreaves that are first to capitalise, moving up into second place and closing the gap on the rally leaders after their problems. With the tyre gamble just about paying off for Dave Bennett and Alistair McNeil in the morning, the decision to run the same winter road tyres to the end of the rally was looking more risky, with some gravel starting to show now. But once again, the risk paid off. Third place with one stage remaining. No time gained by Nigel Jenkins and Jack Walby, but they move up to fourth following the problems ahead, looking like a good result for this local crew. And after the problems in the morning stages, it will be a clean and tidy run for Marcel Freeling and Karen Robinson in the afternoon. No problems to report, and the MG crew seemingly enjoying the stages now. 5th 1400 at this stage. A cautious approach to the afternoon was the plan for Kieran Darrington and Pamela Hilton, but with the pace improving, this wouldn't be enough to keep them where they wanted to be. Pushed down to 6th place, more aggression was needed on the final stage if they were to keep that position. No improvement for Sean Matthews and Thomas Parry. They take up 7th place as everyone moves up one and still lead the class by a comfortable margin going into the final stage. Darren Pinchin and Karen Watts enjoy a fight back after their lost time in the morning and move up to 8th place. But with only one more stage to go, it was unlikely there would be any more points to take away from this round. Remaining in 9th place meanwhile, Freddie Brick and Rob Winhouse were keeping it clean and tidy through the afternoon to hold on to their second place in class for now. And it's a step up into the top 10 for Clive Anstey and Annabelle Seeley in the new car. Not the best of conditions to be learning a new machine, so the campaign would surely start for real at the next round.
All the excitement and action of Trans Am racing will be on GoRacingTV.com this season. You can keep up with all the action from the track each weekend during the 2012 Trans Am season, streamed to you over the internet daily. Now, quick videos keeping you in the middle of Trans Am action in the middle of your busy day. Watch your favorite drivers from your mobile phone or tablet with the new GoRacingTV.com app. But coverage doesn't end there. When the weekend's over, on your schedule, check out 30 minutes of Trans Am this week on GoRacingTV.com, GoTransAm.com, or on YouTube. Get the full behind-the-scenes look of the championship weekend. Trans Am has enjoyed a long racing history. Join us as we write the next chapter of that history. America's Road Racing Series, stepping into a new era of Trans Am racing.
There wouldn't be much in the way of changes to the Rally First leaderboard on the afternoon stages. Ian Barrett and Gavin Wright maintaining the lead and adding a few more seconds to the advantage at the front. No change either for James West and Steve Edgington. Only this time West managed to keep the car on the road and in one piece in that second place. Still holding on to third in Rally First were Chris Hellings and Glenn Thomas. A comfortable margin of 2 minutes making life a little easier with just one stage of the rally remaining. And a late improvement for Aaron McClure and Martin Taylor as they move up a place into fourth. Keep an eye out for this pair on special stage as we follow their progress through the BTRDA in McClure's first season of rallying following his graduation from the F1000 Junior Championship. McClure's move up into 4th was at the expense of Philip Harris and Liam Burns, who dropped down 1 place into 5th now. So over the final stage we see a few small changes to the results in Rally First. The first of those being a new face in the top 5. Jason Hopkins and Ben Vaughan step up to take the position in the closing stage miles. This step up due to problems for new boy Aaron McClure. He drops from 4th to 6th, sliding wide and hitting a tree in the final stage, but making it to the finish in true rally style. No change in the rest of the top 5 as Philip Harris and Liam Burns maintain 4th place to the finish. Chris Hellings and Glyn Thomas take the final step of the podium in 3rd, and runners-up at the end of a difficult event were James West and Steve Edgington. But runaway winners of Rally First at this opening round are Ian Barrett and Gavin Wright, a lead of almost 5 minutes at the end of the event. In the overall 1400s results, it wasn't the best of starts for Rachel Patterson and Josh Davison. Problems with the car put them OTL early in the event, but a determined drive sees the pair at least complete the stages and gain some valuable experience. This being Rachel's first event, so experience is the key. We'll be following Rachel's progress in the championship as the season goes on. So out of those who finished the event, it will be Clive Anstey and Annabelle Seeley in 10th. A steady start with the new car. Freddie Brick and Rob Woodhouse hold on to 9th place and they're second in class. And after a problem-strewn morning, 8th place is all Darren Pinchin and Karen Watts can manage. It would be a good start to the season, meanwhile, for Sean Matthews and Thomas Parry in the Escort. 7th overall and winners of their class. First time out in rear-wheel drive, remember. No change for Kieran Darrington and Pamela Hilton, but more importantly, no more lost time. The push on the final stages helps them keep their 6th position on the final leaderboard. And it's an MGZR Challenge win for Marcel Freeling and Karen Robinson, taking 5th 1400 in the process. But bad luck for Justin Lawson and Paul Hargreaves as a drive shaft breaks in the final stage, dropping them down to 4th. So that means it's a last-minute graduation to the podium for Nigel Jenkins and Jack Walby in 3rd. Dave Bennett and Alistair McNeil proved the new car is capable of good things with a fantastic 2nd place. Their previous domination of Rally First, a seemingly distant memory. But once again, and becoming somewhat of a tradition now, Julian Wilkes and Will Rutherford-Child take the top spot in the 1400s at round 1 of the 2012 REIS Get Connected BTRDA Rally Championship.
Julian, Will, fantastic result. It wasn't all plain sailing though, was it?
It certainly wasn't this afternoon. We went out there from after we spoke to you at lunchtime, and we had a 50-second lead. First stage this afternoon, I just went off. I hit a bank really, really hard on the front corner. It took the wheel off pretty much, didn't it? And we struggled to the end. Got to the end. Justin was right behind us. We'd lost a minute. Tried to get the wheel put on from the boot onto there. Took the back wheel off as well, and it fell down the jack 3 times. So we had manpower trying to lift up the car. All sorts of problems this afternoon. And then we had to have a gravel tyre put on the left rear. So on every single right-hander, we were going round like a Mark II Escort. It was like fully broadside. It was scary stuff. Well, he can vouch for that.
So apart from those minor issues, Will, one of those days
Fantastic morning, absolutely brilliant this morning. This afternoon a bit hairy, especially on my side because it was bad tyres on my side of the car, but really, really good. Fair play to the old boys, really kept it going, and hopefully we got the win. So yeah.
Your names are on the top trophy for the 1400s yet again. Well done, boys.
Great, thank you very much. Yeah, it's a hat trick for Will as well, so it's good.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you.
Cheers.
Hugh, an up and down year, it's fair to say, with some pretty last-minute frustrations on some of the rallies in 2011. But here we are, the Wyedean 2012. New car, new confidence?
Yeah, new car. Well, I wouldn't say new confidence just yet. We've done very, very little in the car. I think we did about 20 miles on the Cambrian. So, yeah, there's a lot to learn with the car. So the conditions are going to be pretty treacherous today. So it's going to be very difficult today. But I'll be looking forward to it nonetheless.
So as the 2012 season gets underway for the BTRDA Gold Star Cruise, it will be an early lead for Hugh Hunter and Andy Marchbank. Limited time in the new car didn't seem to be a problem, but a few setup issues were starting to make themselves known during the second of the morning stages. It wouldn't be an easy rally, that much obvious, even at this early stage.
How was that, Hugh?
Interesting. I wouldn't call it fun. Really, really difficult. Absolutely treacherous. Absolutely treacherous.
Not ideal conditions for learning a new car.
No, not at all. We've been playing around with the diffs. That we had him on a little bit too aggressive in there. So every sort of tight square bend we were coming into, it was pushing us on in the corner, which wasn't what we needed. So we'll try a less aggressive dip mapping this afternoon. But I don't know what the conditions are. I've heard they're not as bad actually in Chepstow Park.
Second place at the end of the first handful of stages, a good start for Charlie Payne and Craig Thorley. Spins and overshoots would be the order of the day for everyone. These two are no exception. This rally really would be less about speed and more about making the least mistakes and just keeping it on the road.
Well, you're working quite hard in there.
Fairly, yes, very hard. But we've been off a couple of times in previous stages. We've got through that okay, so, but boy oh boy, it's slipping.
You're managing to find the grip?
No, just hope and just get it in the right direction here. You can't. You've got ice in there. Nothing will grip on ice. It's just you got to go for it, like so. All right. Cheers. Thanks very much.
But it wouldn't be a mistake that stopped Steve Perez and Paul Spooner from making any advance on that lead. The Kick Energy crew suffering an early puncture. Trying to find anything remotely resembling grip on these icy stages meant cutting the corners and hooking a wheel into the ditches, making punctures a big risk. Third place would have to be good enough for now for the returning 2010 champion.
We won't keep you long, that's not ideal, is it?
I don't know how we got a puncture, we haven't hit anything, we've had a puncture for about 7 miles. I think Hughes just caught us towards the end of the stage. I'm really gutted because we were just trying to make some time up from him.
What was the grip like before that?
Yeah, we got stuck on the bank on the first stage like most people. I think we were fastest on the second stage. But yeah, I'm just gutted about that puncture.
We'll let you change it and get back.
Hey?
We'll let you change the puncture.
Oh yeah, we'll change it now.
It wouldn't be far into the first stage that the conditions got the better of Sean Gardner and Ben Innes, spinning only a few corners into the stage, but the pair soon back on the pace and settling into fourth, leading the B13 class too. A last-minute decision to buy a set of snow tyres literally 40 minutes before the start was paying off for Paul Davey and Roger Allen. So much so that on stage 3 they were catching and passing cars. This all adds up to 5th place going into the afternoon stages for the pair, as well as a head start on the N4 class leaderboard. A good run in the morning would be hampered slightly for Nigel Griffiths and John Scott, getting held up behind a slower car in front, but 6th place at the moment and 2nd in B13 was a good position to take into the afternoon stages.
We're going. Go flat one right, 130.
The leading rear-wheel drive crew in 7th place were Dave Brick and Chris Butcher, the pair catching and passing cars right the way through the stages in the morning to storm ahead in the B12 class. And no amount of pre-season testing could have prepared Roger Chilman and Brian Thomas for these conditions in the Impreza, enduring their fair share of moments in the opening stages to end the morning in 8th place. A good tyre choice helped Scottish Championship regulars Mike Faulkner and Peter Foy on the icy stages as they settle into 9th place. That overall position good enough for 3rd in B13.
And it would be a good start for Matt Edwards and Sam Collis as they use a recent ice driving trip to good effect and finish the morning in 10th place.
The morning stages would be as far as David Wright and Michael Wilkinson would be going. Damage from a puncture on stage 3 causing the pair to retire soon afterwards. Not the best start to the 2012 championship campaign for the crew who took the overall championship just 3 seasons ago.
With so much racing going on in the world, you'd have to be a four-headed monster to keep up with it all. Luckily, we have that. Join Peter Keane, Bill Wood, Errol Tucker, and their guest driver analyst each week for an opinionated look at the news coming out of the racing world. Remember, it's GoRacingTV.com for all your racing and video needs.
In the Silver Star category, it would be our B12 leaders Dave Brick and Chris Butcher holding a somewhat comfortable 2-minute lead going into service. But it wouldn't be quite that simple for second place Neil Matthews and Ian Harden. They may be leading the B10 class, but this wasn't a lead without its problems. From the intercom failing on the start of the first stage to the windows in the car misting up. Maybe the fresh air through that open window vent would give the crew a little something extra with which to fight for that lead. Third place belonged to the highest running historic crew of Theo Bengry and Les Forsbrook. A survival mission if nothing else, but going well and keeping the Ascona where it needed to be. Bengry's lead of the historics, however, was a new development, with the lead in that class being held by Nick Elliott and Dave Price over the morning stages. Sadly for Elliott though, along with a few others, it would be a lead that would be short-lived. The regulations stipulate a certain profile of tyre on historic cars, and due to limited ice tyre options, the crew opted to run a lower profile, sadly resulting in exclusion from the event. A disappointing verdict on an issue which wouldn't represent a performance advantage. All this, of course, helps those behind to gain some extra places. And for Tony Carinanti and Mike Scrimgar, it would be 4th at the end of the morning stages. A solid 2nd in the B12 class. A strong early showing from a new pairing for Matthew Cathcart and James Morgan as they shake down the Fiesta R2 in 5th place. Also running 2nd in B10. And while no strangers to the BTRDA, Grant Rees and Wyn Davies did have a lot to learn this weekend with a new car. The first round going well so far though, they lie in 6th place, leading their class. A slippy start for Alan McDowell and Gavin Heseltine in the Opel as they struggle with the conditions to end the morning stages in 7th. Still 2nd in B11 though. Those behind in 8th were David Poyser and John Orme, the Civic pair putting in some good times to lead their class now in these difficult conditions. Second of the historic runners still running on the Wyedean were Pete Smith and Paul Wakely. A slow start due to a wrong tyre choice, but improvement on stage 3 when the pair switched to a snow tyre. This position good enough for 9th on our Silver Star leaderboard midway through the day.
All right, everybody else has done it. And then turn square left here, don't cut. Keep in, keep in. And 60. Left 2 through the dip. And right 4.
And rounding off the top 10 Silver Star were John Ross and Martin Oscarin, the pair running third in Class B12. Another graduate from the popular F1000 Junior Championship. Sadly for Chris Ingram and Cliffy Simmons, it wouldn't be such a good start to the season as they slide wide and roll the new Renault Twingo. Both crew members okay, and the car back on its way to still set a time good enough for 35th overall. But the pair would be forced to retire after the stage owing to the damage to the screen. So here's a look at the results after the morning's loop of stages. Stage 4 would see a change at the top, with Charlie Payne and Craig Thorley edging out a small margin of just 12 seconds going into the final stage of the event. A bit of bad luck for Hugh Hunter and Andy Marchbank. The Focus pair the latest victims of the grip hunting as they pick up a puncture just a mile into stage 4 and drop from the lead, down into second place.
Right-handers, you. Okay, up the gears. Keep right, cut easy left. 70. 6 left.
But a puncture was just the start of the bad luck for Steve Perez and Paul Spooner. The damage resulting from that flat tyre causing the wheel to fall apart and drag the car into a ditch on the inside of the corner. With no way out and the crew's hopes of a good start to the campaign sinking, literally, it was the end of the road. A disappointing finish to a good run, running in third place up to this point. Problems at the top of the rally leaderboard mean those behind move up the order, and taking over that third place from Perez was Sean Gardner and Ben Innes, overcoming the conditions and a puncture earlier in the day to increase their advantage by another few seconds and remain in the lead of the B13 class. Second in that class and chasing down Gardner were Nigel Griffiths and John Scott, the pair enjoying the stages and settling into fourth place now. In fifth and leading the N4 class now were Paul Davey and Roger Allen, but this wasn't without some scares along the way. A big moment in stage 6 saw the car leave the road and take a trip through the undergrowth, luckily not causing any damage other than a dent in their advantage going into the final stage. This means that Roger Chilman and Brian Thomas go into the final stage with 19 seconds separating them from Davey in 5th. So the stage was set for a fight to the stop boards to see if they can claw back some time and the position in the closing miles of the rally. Improved times for Matt Edwards and Sam Collis in the afternoon as the pair get used to the new car mean they jump up into our Gold Star top 10 now. 7th place after stage 6 and 3rd in B13. Edwards' experience on ice showing running so high up in the leaderboard despite these difficult conditions. Meanwhile, sticking with the ice tyres was the right move for Mike Faulkner and Peter Foy. The pair hold position and end stage 6 in 8th place. And the fastest of the rear-wheel drive crews so far was still Dave Brick with Chris Butcher alongside. The pair lead the B12 class and continue to enjoy themselves on the stages as others simply struggle with the treacherous conditions.
40, keep him steady, take him steady, 40 mid-crest, 100, mid-crest down, turn hairpin right, caution, hairpin right, rough, ooh, yeah, 80, AC, 4 left, 170.
And rounding off our Golf Star top 10 with just one stage remaining are Tom Cave and Craig Parry, also holding their place as second Class N4 competitors too. In the BTRDA Silver Star category, it would still be the flying farmer Dave Brick with Chris Butcher extending their lead to over 2.5 minutes going into the final stage. And with no sign of slowing down, this was looking like victory on the opening round. Still on the pace in second were Neil Matthews and Ian Harden. Neil's surely glad he attended an ice driving school in Sweden now, learning skills that were clearly paying dividends on this opening round of the season. Third place in the Silver Star category and leaders of the historic section of the event were Theo Bengry and Les Forsbrook. The Ascona pair going well in conditions that were now starting to improve in some sections of the stages. BMW crew Tony Carinanti and Mike Scrimgower lie in fourth. No stranger to good results in this car, it was looking good for another second in class this weekend. Still getting to grips with the unique and imposing Micra kit car, Grant Rees and Wyn Davies would enjoy a day without problems, other than the lack of grip being suffered by everyone. They finished stage 6 in 5th place and lead the B11 class. Unfortunately for Matthew Cathcart and James Morgan, this means a drop down 1 place into 6th. Only 5 seconds in it though going into the last stage, so it would be all to play for in the Class B10 battle. Still a distinct lack of grip for Alan McDowell and Gavin Heseltine in the Opel, but it wasn't going too badly for the Scot. 7th place in the Silver Star and 2nd place in Class B11 now. Moving up to 8th, meanwhile, Matthew Robinson and Nigel Hutchinson are running 3rd in B12 and posting some good times in the Escort. This helps them climb the leaderboard into the second half of the event. A new car and a good result in it so far. Another crew jumping into the top 10 Silver Star now with Damien Thomas and Elliot Edmondson. The Peugeot crew using any grip they could get their hands on to gain every advantage possible to lay 9th. And rounding off the top 10 now with Jerry Bailey and Graham Lacey, the pair running 3rd in class too.
Club, an amateur racer. Here at Go Racing TV, we salute you. And we want to give you all the tools and info to compete with the best. Find out how to do it all from your own garage by watching our Club Racer and Autocrosser shows. GoRacingTV.com, supplying all your video racing needs.
So with just the 6 miles of the final stage remaining, let's take a look now at the top 10 Silver Star crews. And rounding off the top 10 were Pete Smith and Paul Wakely, the pair also our leading historic category competitors. One position better off in the final results for Jerry Bailey and Graham Lacey as they finished the day in 9th. It would also be a place gained for Damien Thomas and Elliot Edmondson, the pair making their final play with a move into 8th place. The reason for this movement in the results was due to the retirement of Theo Bengry and Les Forsbrook, the pair retiring the Ascona at the final time control. Incredibly, in such difficult, changeable conditions, we have equal times for 6th place. Alan McDowell and Gavin Heseltine the second of those crews. While Matthew Robinson and Nigel Hutchinson hold a slight advantage to take the 6th place just above McDowell, thanks to a faster stage time on stage 1. Unfortunately for Grant Rees and Wyn Davies, it's a drop back down a place into 5th on the final stage. Still a fantastic result in the new car and a well-deserved class win for the pair. Clawing back some time and jumping back into 4th place were Matthew Cathcart and James Morgan. They also wrap up second in the B10 class. And it's a podium place for the BMW of Tony Carinanti and Mike Scrimgow, following a steady run to preserve the tyres, a strategy that paid off and nets them 3rd place and 2nd in class. A great result for Neil Matthews and Ian Harden sees them hold the 2nd place they established early in the event, the pair emerging as winners of the B10 class too. But it's a runaway win in the Silver Star category for Dave Brick and Chris Butcher. A good tyre choice was key on this event, and the pair certainly got it right. Over 3 minutes the lead at the end of 7 difficult stages. On to the overall results now, and it would be 10th place for Tom Cave and Craig Parry in the Evo. A change to gravel tyres for the final stages was something Mike Faulkner and Peter Foy indicated would have helped their result, but 9th overall was still good considering the competition. For Matt Edwards and Sam Collis, it would be 8th place. Matt's record in the BTRDA has so far been impressive, but he now has to prove himself with the B13 Evo. An entirely different animal, the Llandudno-based driver's previous 4-wheel drive experience limited to a select few rallies. A fantastic result for Dave Bennett and Alistair McNeil, the pair appearing in the overall top 10 leaderboard in the 1400 Corsa. 7th overall to show for a challenging day's competition on the classic Wyedean Forest stages. Paul Davey and Roger Allen keep hold of their class lead to take the N4 trophy, netting 6th overall in the process. And 5th overall was the best result that could have been expected for Roger Chilman and Brian Thomas after a slow start to the event, just 17 seconds ahead of Davey in 6th. Nigel Griffiths and John Scott make the best of the icy stage conditions to finish the event in 4th place, 2nd in Class B13. And it's simply a giant killing performance from Julian Wilkes and Will Rutherford-Child, which not only sees them take the 1400 win, but also 3rd overall, showing what can be done when you drive to the conditions. Unfortunately for Hugh Hunter and Andy Marchbank, it would be last-minute frustrations which would conclude the story of their rally. 3 punctures in the final stages and only 2 spares mean that the pair are unable to complete the road section back to Chepstow. A disappointing end to a good run.
Late medium left, into square right. Short stage this, don't forget. Into square right. And flat left in over crest. And fast medium left in. 50.
This of course means it's smiles all round and a great result for Sean Gardner and Ben Innes. They step up to take 2nd place and the win in B13. But it wasn't a podium finish without its drama. Sliding wide on the final stage and hitting a tree, this mishap caught on camera here by a special stage viewer. Victory at round 1 then for Charlie Payne and Craig Thorley. The Focus WRC pair finished with over 3 minutes in hand, starting their championship campaign off in style and showing their consistency in difficult conditions.
Charlie, Craig, what a fantastic result. Somewhat unexpected with the conditions and also with what happened at the end there.
Yeah, absolutely. We had our problems on the first stage. We went off and got a puncture, and we got out there, and then we took stock because I knew then I had to keep it clean. If you caught the banks, then that would lift the tyre off the rim, and there you get a puncture. So fortunately I learnt on the first stage, and we kept it fairly clean since then, but great shame Hugh didn't just get there, because he was going very, very well. Yeah, absolutely.
Difficult conditions, so full credit to you for giving us such a show throughout the day, because it has been a tight battle, hasn't it?
It has, and I think we've all done very well to stay on the road, and the problem is you don't know where the ice is, so you're committed, you're doing everything that you think's right, and then you come around the corner, sheet ice for 300 yards, then you've got gravel, so you get a bit of confidence again. It's so unpredictable, you just don't know what's going to happen.
And I don't think anybody stayed on the road 100% of the time either, did they? No. Fantastic result for DMAC as well.
Absolutely, yeah, it's tremendous tyres in the future. We had our problems with DMAX, but we got through, and yeah, it's an excellent result. Let's hope we can keep a few more coming this year.
It's the first round of the REIS Get Connected BTRDA Rally Championship, and you two have well and truly nailed your colours to the mast. Well done.
Yeah, it's really good. As I said, I think there were three of us. Unfortunately, Steve Perez went off. We believe he went off on the inside of a bend, and then Hugh's obviously been pushing and just caught the outside or something and punctured. And we just managed to keep it going, and to finish first shift to finish.
Well done. It's going to be a good Saturday night celebration, isn't it?
Thank you very much. Yes.
So here's a rundown of the final overall results at the end of a dramatic Wyedean Forest Rally.
That's all we've got time for at a very eventful opening round for the 2012 REIS Get Connected BTRDA Rally Championship. We hope you can join us for the Malcolm Wilson when we go up north for more spectacular rally action from the UK's premier gravel rally championship. We're going to go and warm up now. Thank you for watching Special Stage.